Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with a look at Elite Dangerous, and the following footage is brought to you from last night's live stream on twitch.tv, which was actually quite the success. We had a lot of viewers on board to laugh, cry, and offer their expertise with this title. This was, of course, a very daunting experience for me. Very difficult game to get into, steep learning curve, but honestly, that's the way I like it. I like seeing that there are games coming out that are to be considered actual simulations again. You know, growing up as a PC gamer, this was the pinnacle of what we came to expect from the platform. You know, it was all about buying that gigantic PC box with a Bible-thick manual on the inside and a bunch of other things like maps and posters and whatever. You know, that's what we came to expect from PC gaming, and to see things get dumbed down over the years, this is just very refreshing. And on top of this, I'm also of course looking forward to Star Citizen. I did live stream a little bit of the Arena Commander a few days ago, and that's where some of my viewers in the chat had suggested that I try out Elite Dangerous, which I hadn't really heard too much about, so I decided to investigate further, check out some vids, and jump into it myself. Enjoying it so far. It might be a little limited in some cases, but for me right now, just enjoying that fresh, new feeling, getting into it. It is really immersive. The graphics are fantastic. They're using their own proprietary Cobra engine, I believe. The sound effects are above and beyond what I would expect from a game like this. They're absolutely stunning, and I think that's part of it. I think a lot of game developers these days neglect sounds. Generally, you have to deal with a lot of synthesized, you know, sound effects in most titles. This one, whether they're handmade or collected from something else, I don't know, but they do really sound great, and they bring you into the game, and the visuals are there to back that up as well. So it's a fantastic looking and sounding game. The gameplay seems pretty solid as well so far, really smooth. I did experience quite a few crashes and hiccups. There was some lag in the online play, but it is really early in beta, so I'm not expecting a whole heck of a lot right now. And some of those crashes could have been on my end, because I was also trying to locally record some of this footage. So I don't have everything here. If you are interested in seeing the entire live stream, you can find that on twitch.tv in the archive section, at least for a limited time. But here I'm just in my newbie ship, just trying to learn the ropes, and refueling, rearming, going through the commodities section, the market, in order to buy and sell. Just pretty much what people are calling space trucking. This game, for those of you that are not aware, it is in some ways to be considered competition for Star Citizen, but honestly, I don't want to compare them too much. I think that they're both going to be great games in their own right. I've invested in both titles. I will be trying to play both and look at both. I am interested in them all. In fact, if even more of these games came out, I would be ecstatic, because honestly, I've said this in the past about other titles. Competition breeds excellence, and the more games within a genre that exists, the better it is for us as the consumer, as gamers, because then they're going to be fighting each other, trying to be the better games. So hey, if this is the beginning of the return of simulations to PC, then bring them on. You know, I'm looking forward to this and whatever else comes out from here. Some people in the chat were talking about a few other titles that I hadn't even heard of, so really good to see that more people are jumping onto the whole simulation bandwagon, if you will. That's fine by me. So anyway, right now though, really overwhelmed by this Elite Dangerous game. Still have a lot to learn. I was playing most of the game with a mouse and keyboard, which was kind of difficult for the flight. I do own a Xbox 360 PC gamepad, which I think was better for the flying, but limited me a little bit in regards to controls and things that I was easily able to access. I think this game and Star Citizen might force me to invest into a joystick, possibly. I do have an old, I think it's the SideStrafe X45 or X42, one of those. But I had some compatibility issues with it in regards to newer titles, so I might just try to upgrade, get something else. It would seem that most people that take this game seriously are using actual joysticks and kind of foregoing the mouse keyboard experience. Although, according to RamJB, he says mouse and keyboard is completely viable here. I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to maneuvering your spacecraft, which is what you're spending a large percentage of the time doing, you're going to want to have better control with the joystick setup there. So I might look at that. I know a lot of people are using Track IR as well. Amongst other things, I've noticed that people are using a separate software called Voice Attack to be able to do voice commands within the game to make things a little easier, such as saying landing gear down and the computer responds landing gear down. Just to automate things a little bit more so that you don't always have to be hitting buttons. I think that it could get pretty crazy, especially if you're within a firefight. But, you know, the prospects of this, really exciting. I never really got into games like Eve. I did beta test it many moons ago, and I also played for a little bit, but it just wasn't for me. It was too MMO, kind of point and click. I really do like this first-person simulation feel that it's Twitch. I think that's going to cater towards my playstyle a little bit more, even though I'm not fantastic at these games. I think it's just a lot more fun. It's more immersive to me, and I look forward to getting into these a lot more in the future. But just the thought of perhaps having a friend hauling precious cargo and maybe you and another buddy flying fighter escort, that idea really excites me, and I really hope that they flesh out the group and matchmaking components to this title, because I think that's critical to its success. By the way, this game has some of the best warp sequences that I've ever seen. Let's have a listen here.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I really love that. I never get sick of listening to the warp sound effects, going into it and then getting out of it once you see the end result. It's just fantastic. So beautiful. Love that. I could do that all day long. Never going to get sick of it. And again, it's not just the visuals, it's the sound that really brings you into it. That kind of bass thump when you pop out a warp as well. It's just beautiful. But anyway, you know, this game, as you can tell, we're just really excited to get into it, dig deeper, learn more about it. One thing that maybe I was a little disappointed in is kind of some of the ship designs. I know they kind of go back to some of the original ships from the early Elite games. I never really played any of those, but you know, from what Bombadil's told me and other people have told me, they're just some of the designs are throwbacks to old ships from the first games. Some of them are kind of, you know, kind of bleh, but there are some that are okay looking. I think the Anaconda is a pretty cool looking big ship. The Eagle's kind of okay. You know, this one, I think some people in the chat decided looked like a something that you would order from Taco Bell, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope that some of the ship designs improve over time. There aren't that many in right now, so I hope that they get cooler looking. I think Star Citizen probably has the advantage in regards to actual ships for now, but you know, again, it is early, and there are only a handful of ships in this title currently, so that could change with time. But you know, it's not too bad. The cockpits are well designed, at least, and you know, I can say that I've probably seen worse. So right now, it's not horrible. But I think that was really the only negative thing that I could think of right now, other than the fact that there's just not a whole lot to do other than perhaps be a pirate or a bounty hunter or just deliver cargo. But honestly, I think this is a fantastic title to just kind of sit back with and relax. For the most part, I wasn't in too much danger. I was playing on the online mode. There is a solo mode, and if you don't want to have to deal with other players, you can jump into that. And I think that your progress obtained in the solo mode also does get pushed over to the online mode if you choose to play in that. The downside, I think, is just in solo mode, you might not see everything that you can see in the online play. You'll still have to deal with AI, piracy, and things like that, but I don't think it's going to be as competitive, and there might be some things that you might miss out on. There might be some areas not included, things like that. At least that's what I've been reading, that it might not duplicate what's in the online mode, so there is that disadvantage to playing just kind of by yourself. So it is cool that that option is there. I don't know if they're going to add any other type of single-player component or story-based elements, but at least they do give you, different options there. So, with that said, again, I'm just going to be digging through this over the next few weeks, trying to learn it a little bit more. I think that it'll take me some time, and I'm going to have to shop around, maybe look or consider a joystick. I might play around a little bit more with the Xbox 360 controller to see if I can still just utilize that. So I won't have to invest in anything else. I might be looking at some of the SideTech stuff, some of their newer things. I've heard a lot of people talk about the X52 Pro, going with like a HOTAS setup. I know there's some more expensive sticks out there, but I'm not a huge flight sim guy. I know at the end of the day that I'm better on the ground than I am either in the sky or in space. I wouldn't expect any miracles from me if you are watching my content, whether it's a live stream or a video on YouTube. Don't expect me to be this ace pilot. It's just one of those things where I don't think, even with a large amount of time, that I'm ever going to be super amazing. I think it's just a different mindset or set of reflexes that you have to have. Practice does make perfect, but, I don't want you guys thinking that I'm going to know everything there is to know about this game. I'm going to have Ram JB and Bombadil help me out a little bit more, perhaps with some of the flight stuff. But really, again, for me, this is just all about having fun, which is what most games should be about. And I've been trying to get more into that mindset with all of the games I play as of late. And I think you should too. Jump into these simulations, try out new games, try out titles like MechWarrior, try out this Elite Dangerous, or at least wait for it. Keep an eye on it. Check out Star Citizen. Keep an eye on these things. I'm not saying buy in and waste all your money up front, but wait for them. Give them a look, because even though they can be a little scary, at the beginning, I think once you get past those learning curves, you really start to see the underlying gameplay elements, and I think that's what's important, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to actually keep you playing these titles. Whereas other titles these days tend to fall short in the gameplay departments. They like to blind you with eye candy, but really under the hood, there's just not much substance. And I think that's what I really enjoy about the whole old school kind of simulation genre. And again, just really glad to see it making a return. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you've enjoyed this look at Elite Dangerous. I will have more on the live stream and hopefully a few more VODs here on YouTube, so keep an eye out there. But with that said, thank you so very much for joining me. I'll see you on the next one.